He kōna I purangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Hello, I'm Simon Morris. Well, this week marks a milestone of sorts for At the Movies, the last 3 films I'm required to have an opinion of as we launch into the show's final countdown. Next week we'll wrap up the year, the good, the bad, and no doubt the traditional Cate Blanchett Award for being in everything. And then in the final show, we'll look back on nearly a quarter of a century of going to the pictures for a living. And we'll ask Fred Willard's inevitable question.
Hey, what happened? As you know, back in 1970, I started on a series called What Happened? And every time something would go wrong, I would look at the camera and say, hey, what happened?
But before that, this week's selection. I confess I was concerned that we might go out on a bit of a downer, a clutch of cinematic non-entities, of which goodness knows there have been a few in 2025. But in fact, all of this week's films, coincidentally, featured some undoubted personal highlights of the past 20 years. First, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery.
What the hell happened?
We do not know. What is truth? We don't know that. We don't. What exists? Does any of this exist? So,
what is even happening right now?
The cast is certainly star-studded. Glenn Close, Jeremy Renner, Andrew Scott, and of course Daniel Craig as Detective Benoit Blanc. But the real star is its supremely clever writer-director, Rian Johnson. We first discovered Rian in 2005, a little festival stunner called Brick. It was a unique blend of high school movie and Bogart-era film noir.
So, you didn't know this boy?
No, sir, never seen him.
And he just hit you?
He asked for my lunch money first. Good thing I brown bagged it.
If that wasn't unusual enough, try and find Looper, part time travel sci-fi, part Mean Streets hitman. Rian Johnson always delivers, even in a seemingly cliché genre like the Saturday night TV whodunit. Another person who never lets you down made her mark 5 years after Brick in a film called Winter's Bone, Jennifer Lawrence.
If he doesn't show at trial, see, the way the deal works is you all gonna lose his house here. You got someplace to go?
I'll find him.
Girl, I've been looking.
I said I'll find him.
Winter's Bone turned out to be the perfect audition for the Hunger Games phenomenon. Jennifer Lawrence is simply incapable of giving a false performance. On the talk show circuit, Jen usually presents as a lovable ditz. None more lovable, none more ditzy. But when she turned up for Lynn Ramsey's Die, My Love, she was here to work.
Where's your book going, by the way?
Main character is about to batter her husband to death with a hammer.
Shut up.
And last, and I imagine most, the belated follow-up to a Disney modern-day classic, 2016's Zootopia. Zootopia 2 points out how few and far between classic Disney animations have been lately, since former leading light producer John Lasseter was moved on. But Zootopia director Jared Bush has stepped up and delivered an embarrassment of riches.
We've been partners for 1 week. Happy anniversary.
Oh, it's your anniversary? This is the night, it's a beautiful...
thank you for this.
Putting in that little tribute to Lady and the Tramp's Buona Notte is a sentimental nod to both Lasseter and to Uncle Walt himself. But first, round up the usual suspects. Wake Up Dead Man wants to know who done it.
Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you open?
Always.
You're right.
TV murder mysteries like Hercule Poirot, Morse, Midsummer Murders and our own Brokenwood Mysteries have been a regular fixture everywhere for years. Everywhere but the United States, it seems. Their best-known whodunits were long ago. Shows like Columbo, Murder, She Wrote, and, let's not forget, Scooby-Doo.
It is time to discover what this flock of wicked wolves is hiding.
There's some Scooby-Doo shit going on here.
Scooby-Doo-Doo.
So when Rian Johnson introduced his detective Benoit Blanc, Daniel Craig with a faintly ridiculous New Orleans accent, solving murders in wealthy people's mansions, it was more of a novelty at home than it was, say, here. Now, following Knives Out and Glass Onion comes Wake Up Dead Man.
A perfectly impossible crime.
This case is solvable, right?
I'm incapable of not solving a crime. Oh, you'll see. It's fun.
Now, even the biggest fans of the traditional whodunit have to admit that the unveiling of the murderer is the least interesting bit. One of the glamorous suspects is revealed to be the culprit. He, she, or they admit it, the end. And let's face it, it could be any of them. I remember once it was the detective himself.
Well, isn't this something?
Right? It's hard to be in here and not feel his presence.
Whose? Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
You're not a Catholic?
No, very much not, no.
Don't worry, no spoilers. The most interesting part is the setup, where we meet all the moving parts of the story, particularly the soon-to-be victim. Now, generally, this is the most obnoxious person in the village, and in this case, the name gives it away. It's fire and brimstone priest, Monsignor Jefferson Wicks.
A man gives a sermon. He then, in plain sight of everyone, walks into a sealed concrete box. And 30 seconds later, that man is lying dead.
Invariably, the finger of suspicion then points to our hero, or at least the person doing much of the narrating. In this case, it's liberal priest Father Judd Duplessis. Johnson's character names are fabulous. Played by Josh O'Connor, here being grilled by Mila Kunis's investigating cop.
You're the only one on stage with the Monsignor at the time of his killing. And you're the only one at that church who hated his guts.
The spirit really moved him today, huh?
So tell me, what the hell happened?
It's clear that Father Judd is going to need all the help he can get. In other words, Benoit Blanc himself. And if you remember Blanc's previous appearances, you'll know he'll spend much of the first act sniffing around the late Monsignor's conveniently depleted congregation.
Wicks had a vast family fortune.
If made public, can ruin people.
God forbid.
What's on the mind of Parish Secretary Martha Delacroix, shaky doctor Nat Sharp and disgruntled lawyer Vera Draven is a rumoured missing fortune that may be the motive for Monsignor Wicks's demise. As for the culprit, well, poor Father Judd was discovered, literally red-handed, at the scene of the crime.
Everyone thinks I did it. I didn't do it.
This goes way beyond normal police work. This is something you and I have not experienced.
Now, rookie visitors to a whodunit will no doubt trail after Benoit Blanc and Father Judd with their eyes peeled for significant clues. But the rest of us know that's a fool's errand. They always leave the key clue out until the very last moment, if at all.
With all the pieces on the table, this crime appears impossible.
Old hands instead scrutinise the cast to find out who'd do the best reading of the line, "I did it, I'm glad I did it, and I'd do it again." Or simply toss a coin. Both methods are just as likely to get results, unless the writers are doing their job properly.
This murder was dressed as a miracle. But what happened that night is a much, much larger scheme.
And in this case, Rian Johnson, who writes and directs the Knives Out films, did a very good job. He always picks a great cast and then gives them all something to do. He doesn't cheat, quite, though, like Agatha Christie herself, he's always ahead of us all.
To understand this case, you need to look at the myth that's being constructed.
Also, like Dame Agatha, his stories are hugely entertaining, with strong enough characters to work anyway, not just as potential suspects. Josh O'Connor in particular is terrific as the priest battling some unchristian emotions.
All right, stop! Here's what's gonna happen. Benoit frickin' Blanc and I are gonna ask you all some questions, and you're gonna answer them. We're gonna get to the bottom of who killed Monsignor Wicks and why, and then... that's it!
And Daniel Craig has settled into his role as the eccentric detective. In the early films, Benoit Blanc wasn't so much a character as a collection of amusing idiosyncrasies. Now they combine into someone we want to see again. Wake Up Dead Man is certainly an efficient whodunit, but it's also better than that. Best film of the series, I think.
Now, who wants to go first?
Die, My Love is a film by Scottish director Lynn Ramsay, whose reputation rests on just a handful of films over 25 years. She's probably best known for the chilling We Need to Talk About Kevin, though I was introduced to her in the mesmerising Morven Calla, which this film shares some DNA with.
She don't like her eggs all runny. She looks down her nose at money. She gets it on like the Easter bunny. She's my baby, I'm her honey. I'm never gonna let her go.
Lynn Ramsay's ace in the hole is her great ear for the absolutely appropriate music. This is a far rarer skill than many directors think. In the case of young couple Grace and Jackson, John Prine's genius song about opposites attracting in spite of ourselves is perfect.
Cheryl mentioned that you're a writer.
I don't do that anymore.
Stuck for inspiration?
I'm stuck between wanting to do something and not wanting to do anything at all.
Grace and Jackson are young and in love. She's actually a writer, though right now that's on hold while she looks after the baby. He works in town, leaving her with plenty of room and time in their new home out in the country. Too much time, maybe.
Where are you now?
Is everything all right?
Because what Jackson doesn't know, maybe Grace isn't aware either yet, is she's slowly going crazy out there on her own. And adding to the menace of Die, My Love, we're seeing it all from Grace's increasingly twisted point of view. Grace is played by Jennifer Lawrence, Jackson is Robert Pattinson.
When was the last time we had sex? Rough guess.
Things have been,
I've never seen either of them better, and this is definitely not an easy story to sell. The original novel is by Alice Birch, who wrote two more demanding female-driven stories, Lady Macbeth and The Wonder. Die, My Love was bought by producer Martin Scorsese, who made sure Lynn Ramsay came with it.
You know, he looks just like you.
Uncle Frank?
No. Baby, you goose.
Oh. You think?
Now, I know I've suggested that Ramsay was the film's most valuable player, but I'm not sure. Jennifer Lawrence is spectacularly, fearlessly, uncompromisingly brilliant, and Robert Pattinson matches her every step.
I am working, and when I come home, I'm the one cleaning everything up.
Oh, yo, 3 days a week. Let me shower you in medals.
Shut up!
You have an ashtray on the carpet. You don't think the baby's eating that shit?
Shut up!
For those who only associate Lawrence with deadpan comedy and Pattinson as the pretty boy lead of the Twilight movies, this may come as a shock. But I think the rest of us are well aware that Jen and Rob are good. Perhaps we didn't realise quite how good.
Grace, you know, everybody goes a little loopy the first year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you and Harry have known each other your whole lives. Of course you're gonna go a little loopy.
Oh, no, I mean you. After a baby.
It's not just that particularly Jennifer Lawrence hits her beats so strongly. These include lashing out at both Jackson and his worried, sympathetic mother Pam, played by Sissy Spacek, eyeing up the glamorous next-door neighbour, antagonising the dog she never wanted.
Just gonna leave it?
It's your girlfriend, you clean it up.
Nice.
You pissed on the floor, too. You should make better choices in who you bring home.
It's that she still keeps us on her side in spite of ourselves. Her world starts falling apart, but Jackson refuses to give up on her, and we keep hoping that will be enough, that somehow Grace will pull through, instead of literally climbing the walls.
So do you think you'll have another one?
Yeah, pregnant now. Cooking up twins.
What happened to your hands?
Oh. You should see the wall.
And the tragedy of it is that what's going wrong seems out of Grace and Jackson's hands and good intentions. Maybe it's something easier to sing than it is to say, and director Lynn Ramsey's impeccable taste culminates in an extraordinary version of Joy Division's Love Will Tear Us Apart. Who's that singing?
'Cause there's something so good, just can't function no more. In love, love will tear us apart again.
Turns out it's Ramsey herself. Perfect. The word is out on Die My Love already as awards season approaches, but I wonder if an Oscar does a film like this any favours. It's both better than that and deserves to be discovered with a minimum of hype, but it's definitely a knockout.
Won't be nothing but big old hearts dancing in our eyes.
When I left the second Zootopia movie, 9 years in the making, but who's counting, I was impressed by two things. It's the most crowded animated feature I've ever seen, literally hundreds of animated animals at times. And it's refreshing to see they use professional voice actors, not big-name celebrities.
1, 2, 3, 4. Kiss the second ring right now.
Well, 1 out of 2. The animation is amazing, both in quantity and quality. But there are plenty of celebrity voices if you know where to look, mostly way in the background.
No, carrots. Whoa. Beautiful.
You want to put bad guys away?
Ow! Stop pulling my ears, stop pulling my ears. Never pull a bunny's ears.
Be on the same page every day.
Jiggle it, let's go. I got this. Here's the fuzz.
Ed Sheeran plays a sheep with one word. The Rock provides a brief noise. Michael J. Fox is a fox. Jean Reno is 2 separate mountain goats. There are cough-and-you-miss-them appearances by Rachel House and David Farney. You get the idea. Zootopia 2 is beating off Hollywood with a stick to tell the story of a city run by and for animals, with a police force determined that partners reflect diversity.
Well, we've been official partners for 1 week. Happy anniversary. And we are functioning fine. Better than fine. And we did sort of save the city. So us being here kind of seems like a huge misunderstanding.
And we welcome back the none more diverse rookie police partners, Judy Hopps, the ultra-keen rabbit, and Nick Wilde, the laid-back-to-excess fox. They're voiced, once again to perfection, by Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman.
Notice how she answered first, did not allow her partner to speak, and taps her foot when she's suppressing discomfort. And observe the source of her discomfort, represented by the disconnected affectation of her emotionally insecure partner.
Oh. Judy is determined the pair will be the #1 team, which leads to an ill-advised chase through Zootopia, leaving chaos in their wake. It can't end well, and it doesn't.
Hubs and Wild in pursuit of suspect. Back off, rookies! We got him. Rolling spikes!
What are you, Judy? Sorry. Could you show me that clip again? Wasn't wearing my glasses.
The police chief, Idris Elba was born to play a water buffalo, gives them an ultimatum. Leave detective work to the professionals. Warthogs, hippos, and 2 zebras calling themselves the Z-Bros. But Judy finds herself drawn to a new case. Is that a discarded snakeskin?
Fail at this case, and I will split you up.
No snake.
has set foot in Zootopia in forever.
It's well known that Zootopia is reptile-free. Or is it? Following a series of clues leads them to the Zootopia Met Ball. This is not only an excuse for a mega-crowded scene, but also brings back pop star Shakira to play pop star Gazelle.
There's a snake!
Stop in the name of the law!
And there it is, an actual snake, front and centre. Judy gives chase and finally corners him, only to find he seems a rather sympathetic serpent called Gary. Have snakes had an unwarranted bad rap all this time?
Snakes aren't the bad guys. This is our chance to set things right.
No one will believe us.
They're helping the snake!
We took an oath to make the world a better place, and an innocent snake needs our help.
Gary the snake makes his escape, leaving Judy and Nick to find where reptiles might secretly hang out in Zootopia. And they luck into someone who might just know, an eager beaver called Nibbles.
If you want to talk to a reptile, I am your gal. When Zootopia was founded, this whole neighborhood got cut off from the rest of the town. It's the only place you can get away with wearing a shirt and no pants. Hey, Johnny!
And off we go, barely taking a breath throughout Zootopia 2. And while we're often dazzled, we're never quite lost. Each gag, and there are literally hundreds, gets just enough room. The plot knows where it's going, and the whole is held together by the relationship of the fox and the bunny.
You know, this is not your worst idea.
Wow, that was almost a compliment.
Your worst idea is what you did with your ears.
The voice work is a big part of it, but the animation is wonderful too. The credit at the end went to everyone at Disney Animation, and I can quite believe it. Zootopia 2 is just as worthy of repeat screenings as its predecessor, on the biggest screen you can find for the crowd scenes. Particularly notable is the new Mare Wind Dancer, a gaudy Palomino horse whose slogan is, "You say justice is dead, I say nay."
I want the fox and that rabbit. Do you know how many mayors they've already destroyed?
1, 2. I got up to 2.
In short, it gets everything right that Snow White got wrong, and it didn't make any of the mistakes of too many recent animated films, dumbing down for a perceived younger audience. Like the very best family movies, Zootopia 2 simply says, keep up.
Hey, Flash, 100-yard dash. We need to get across town.
No. Problem.
And that's not a bad motto for any movie, I reckon. And next week we find out how many in 2025 kept us on our toes when we wrap up the year.